Okay, good morning, guys. What I've decided to do for you this morning is create a video about how to write a analytical paragraph. So on the left of your screen, you will see the paragraph help that I've created for you in the past. And on the right, I have got a Word document showing the prep work that I have to do before I create an analytical paragraph. So what you will need to do is to make sure that you have focused on the question that you have decided to look at. And for this one, I have got over here, how does Collins use language to present the character of Katniss? So I'm going to focus on these keywords and highlight them here, okay? And I'm going to go and highlight character of Katniss, okay? So what I will have been directed towards is a section of text that I need to look at. Now for this section of text, I have looked at the beginning of chapter 1. Now I know for a fact that my group did this in class, so I'm hoping that this already looks a bit familiar. But on the left hand side of the table, I have written quotations that I have picked about Katniss. And on the right hand side, I have done something called a quote explosion. Now you might have done this by writing in your book, but for this task I've decided to put it in a table just for ease. And you will also notice that I've highlighted in yellow keywords from each of those quotations. Now this is the kind of thing that you would do when you analyse a text. So when you are asked to annotate, you would highlight keywords and things that you think might have given you some kind of information about the character of Katniss. So in this instance, I have picked the word drown, if you look at the one at the top. Okay, so that's this one here. I think he still remembers how to drown him in a bucket when Prim brought him home. So what I've done here is to pick that quotation that shows Katniss drowning the cat. So here I have put on the right hand side what kind of word it is that I have highlighted, because drown is the thing. If I'm really going to narrow it down, it's the word drown that makes me think something about Katniss. So I have identified the word class, it's a verb, okay, so it's the verb drown, and I've written next to it the kinds of things that it's made me think about the character of Katniss. So in this instance, I've said that drown literally means to try to cause death, which is what she's tried to do with the cat. And the fact is that Katniss has tried to kill the cat, so it implies some cruelty about her. So my point here is actually going to be about the fact that there is an element of cruelty about Katniss. She doesn't value the cat or understand the emotional weight the cat has, so this is about why Prim might have brought the cat home in the first place, etc. So it might imply that actually Katniss has a lack of empathy, or perhaps unable to understand why Prim might have brought him home in the first place. So I'm going to focus on this quote, and now I've verbalised my thought process, I'm going to really start to think about how I'm going to write my paragraph. Now if I go over to this side, my what, how, why paragraph help, I'm going to quickly read it through just to make sure that I understand what it is I need to do. So first of all, I need to decide what it is the writer is trying to tell me or show me about Katniss. So I need to think about the question I've been asked and what I have personally noticed about the text. So I'm given an example there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create my first paragraph, my first sentence about Katniss. So in chapter 1, Katniss is shown as a cruel character. I might want to change this later, okay? This is because, so now I'm moving in to my my explanation a little bit, so I'm going to try and be a little bit careful. So I'm going to say this is because the writer says that Katniss would drown. I'm making sure that I'm using quotation marks around it. I keep writing W. A cat that Prim brings home. So there is my point. And what I need to do is to really think carefully about how the writer does this now. So I'm going to look at my house, and now I've said what the writer is exactly showing me. And I am going to explain now a little bit about that. So I need to choose a quotation. Make sure you choose something that relates to what you said in your what, and it's not too long. You are now showing how the writer has shown you their idea. So I'm going to say, we see this. I'm going to use the example on the how box. We see this in the quote, and now because I've typed it up here, I'm just going to copy and paste it. Oh, my formatting's gone a little bit. Okay, I'm going to leave my drown highlighted for now, just to help me focus on that. So we see this in the quote. Here we focus on the verb. I was going to say word, but I'm going to make it even better. I'm going to put the word verb on the verb drown, which means that Katniss wanted to cause the death of the cat. Okay, so now I'm on my what, my how. So now I'm going to move on to my why. Why do you think the writer has chosen these words or techniques and show you the ideas about a topic, character, setting or theme? What do you think the writer means to show us, and how do we feel about it as readers? Okay, so I'm going to write now what this makes me think about Katniss. So as a reader, this makes me begin to think that Katniss is cruel because she wants to kill the cat that Prim has brought home. So I'm already thinking that because she wants to kill that, I'm going to kind of develop some of the things I've put in my notes at the top. So up here I've put, she doesn't value the cat or understand the emotional weight the cat has. So this shows as well that she doesn't value the cat in the same way as Prim, and does not understand why Prim might want the cat in the first place. This might additionally show that Katniss has no empathy and finds it very hard to understand how others are feeling. Now, if I really wanted to stretch my paragraph here, I might also go on and say something about how Katniss really doesn't understand her mum, for example, and doesn't understand why her mum has done some of the things that she's done. So that's a stretching point. So for now, we're just going to focus on getting those basic paragraphs right. So I'm just going to double check everything I've had. So have I got a what? In chapter 1, Katniss is shown as a cruel character. This is because the writer says that Katniss would drown a cat that Prim brings home. That's very clearly focused on my what. I've then got a very long quote. We see this in the quote, I think he still remembers how I tried to drown him. I've just spotted I've missed a comma there. I think he still remembers how I tried to drown him in a bucket when Prim brought him home. Here we focus on the verb drown. So this is my house. This is what the writer is doing. So good, I'm checking here, which means that Katniss wanted to cause the death of the cat. As a reader, this makes me begin to think that Katniss is cruel. So now I'm moving on to my why as a reader. Good. Okay. because she wants to kill the cat that Prim has brought home. This shows, and now I've got my this shows as well, that she doesn't value the cat in the same way as Prim and does not understand why Prim might want the cat in the first place. This might additionally show, so I'm stretching already, this might additionally show that Katniss has no empathy and finds it very hard to understand how others are feeling. Okay, so I would say that is a jolly good paragraph now at this point. Now, if I really want to stretch, as I said, I might want to think about other things that are said in the text. So, for instance, Katniss's relationship with her mother. Okay, so I hope that helps. Please have a look and pause the video if you want to have a look at my table, perhaps practice using one of my points, writing an analytical paragraph using my table as well if you so wish. Okay, good luck. Let me know how you get on.